this is Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling, with Platinum versus AEW Dark Elevation for July 19th, 2021. It was about an hour and a half episode, and it was a good one. Elevation has been doing these good matchups, some promos, setting up stuff for later. It's like a real show. It is a real show. It is their B show, I would call it. Eddie Kingston, Penta El Zero Miedo, and Alex Abrahantes are backstage. Eddie notes he and Penta were the first tag team to beat the Young Bucks in over a year and still got screwed over. But they're going to be taking on the Wingman. Jake the Snake Roberts, Tony Schiavone, and Paul White welcome us to AEW Dark Elevation, which means if Jake the Snake's commentating, Lance Archer's wrestling, and sure enough, he comes out bringing out his opponent, Zachariah, who he beats that ass some more, and then wins with the blackout. So I'll give this 3 check marks for the matches where one person is dominant over the other. And it is a foregone conclusion. Get a check mark for the person winning in definitive fashion, which he did with the blackout. A second, if the person looks good, it definitely made Lance Archer look good as he goes into this IWGP US title match with Jon Moxley. And a third check mark if the person does a great job in defeat or gets a disproportionately large amount of offense. Well, he didn't get offense worth a shit, but he made Lance Archer look great, and that was the JOB. And now Jake the Snake leaves commentary, and we have Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy with Chris Statlander and Wheeler Yuta. So I guess he's kind of a de facto best friend. Against Chaos Project, Luther and Serpentico. Another foregone conclusion match. At the end, Orange punch on Luther and a power slam on Serpentico because he was on Luther's shoulder, and then Orange and Chuck sit on Luther for the win. A check mark for Orange and Chuck looking dominant and looking good in the process, and of course Luther and Serpentico do a great job in defeat, so 3 check marks. So they do the big best friends hug, but then Blade's music plays and he and Bunny stare down the best friends in his anticipation against Orange, I believe, this Wednesday. Hikaru Shida against Dolce Tormenta. Hikaru Shida continues her streak of just dominating people and looking good in the process. Hits that spinny knee thing, hits it for the win. Tormenta does a good job, and then the match goes smoothly, and Shida looks great. 3 check marks, and we're moving along. Smart Mark Sterling is there with Jade Cargill, and talks about how Jade's going to Hollywood and all this kind of stuff. Man, they really need this stuff to go somewhere, man. Like these promos of like, look at all these deals we're getting. There's no heat. There's nothing happening. They got to shift gears with this and get Jade in a program with somebody. Because this stuff, it feels very Bush League. I'm just speaking truth. Powerhouse Hobbs against Lucas Chase. Powerhouse Hobbs crushes him. I mean, hits him with that spine buster in almost no time flat. Gets the win. Hook's hair looks amazing. 3 check marks. Frankie Kazarian against Baron Black. Baron Black always does a phenomenal job, and this is no exception. Kazarian, great at wrestling anybody. They really have a nice little match here. Kazarian taps Black out with the Baron Black out with the chicken wing. Frankie Kazarian wins. 3 check marks, easy peasy. Brandon Cutler runs in, and again, it's why I like Elevation. They do a little extra stuff. Brandon Cutler comes in and tries to catch him with that cold spray, but nope, he trips. Spray cans go out of his hand. Kazarian throws that right hand, grabs the cold spray, lifts Cutler's face mask, and sprays the cold spray on Cutler's face. Crowd wants another one, so Kazarian does it. But then, and he hits him with the lariat, but Doc Gallows catches Kazarian with the pump kick and a double arm choke slam. I guess they're wrestling on Wednesday night. Ew. Hobbs is backstage. He calls the FTW World Champion Ricky Starks a leader and a team player. And he tells Brian Cage to stay home and don't come back, or what happened in the title match will happen again. Jungle Boy with Luchasaurus at ringside versus Angelico with Private Party. Great match. Great look for both guys. This is a competitive match, our first one. So it's slightly different. You get a check mark if they both look good, and they did. A second check mark if somebody wins in definitive fashion that really puts them over, and Jungle Boy wins with the snare trap, and that definitely qualifies. And then a third check mark if something feels advanced. And it does. It feels like we're getting into a program with the Jurassic Express against the Hardy Family Office. So 3 check marks. Red Velvet against Julia Hart. I'll call this competitive as well. Check mark if they both look good, and they both did. Julia Hart continues to improve, and Red Velvet has a great deal of confidence in this. Red Velvet did a little different finisher. Instead of a Claymore kick kind of thing, she did like a kind of a leg drop neck breaker with the wrist control. A second check mark if Red Velvet looks good. She does. I kind of like the new finisher over just I'm diving with a kick, since that happens in AEW a lot without getting a pin. And a third check mark if something feels like it's advanced. I'm going to say nothing really. This was just a match for a match, and a competitive one, but I don't think this is going to pay off with something with the Varsity Blondes, and nobody came out to advance anything. Oh, but Red Velvet does have a new finisher that is an advancement of something. I take it back, 3 check marks. The Gun Club, in this case, Billy and Colton Gunn against Brock Anderson and Lee Johnson. And I'll call it competitive, and Colton pulled on Lee Johnson's tights for the win. Interesting. Nothing really came of that. It's a competitive match. Both teams look good. That's a check mark. The Gun Club won through cheating, so that's a second check mark. And something feels like it's advanced because they're supposed to be all boys in the same side of the Nightmare Factory thing, right? So interesting. 3 check marks. Luchasaurus against Fuego del Sol. Luchasaurus crushes him, as well should happen. The twisting GTS was like, woo, child. So 3 check marks. Moving on. Dante Martin against Sean Dean. Great to see Sean Dean. They have a very competitive match, though it's still a foregone conclusion that Dante Martin was going to win, so I'll judge it on that scale. But Sean Dean really looks great here, so they definitely get that 3rd check mark. First check mark for Dante Martin winning, and then that overhead stunner for the second check mark for the win. Though it is strange that he does kind of a finisher that Darby Allin does as a major setup move. I would kind of stay away from that. Tay Conti and Serena Deeb against Jasmine Allure and Vertvixen, who I got to see in action against Danny Jordan and was incredibly impressed by. And I am incredibly impressed here. I think Vertvixen did a great job. That hammer throw looked really good by Vertvixen. I think Vertvixen right now, and I'm just being honest, is leading for an enhancement talent of the show. It looks good, and at the end of the day, Serena Deeb wins, smashes Allure's knees, and then takes her out with the Serenity Lock. 3 check marks all the way, and Vertvixen so far winning for Enhancement Talent of the Week. Cesar Bononi comes out during his entrance with a mic. He blames the city for delaying Ryan Nemeth and Peter Avalon's flight. Drake takes the mic and says, "We might not be able to pretty, but we can make you ugly." So Penta and Eddie, JD Drake and Cesar. Penta and Eddie are very dominant in this match, as they should be. But the match does go on. Eddie Kingston chant, really cool to hear. Bononi has his moments, mostly working with Eddie Kingston. And then Eddie and Penta hitting total domination was really, really great. And at the end, super kick, back fist, and then Penta snapping Drake's arm for the win. That looked great. 3 check marks here. Eddie has a mic, but Penta wants it, and he gets the crowd to say "Zero miedo." Penta speaks in Spanish and ends saying, "I love you guys, thank you so much." It's really great. It's really great. And then Eddie takes the mic and he says, "I got in trouble last time. I'll try to be good. AEW took a chance on me." It's just really, really great. And that's the end of the show, and it's a very good one. 3 check marks all the way across. This has been Stephen Platinum. Congratulations to Vertvixen.